Right, good morning YouTube and welcome to my channel Jules Craft Room, and today it's a crochet long. It's the Yarnsmith Spring in Bloom cowl. I've been asked by several of my subscribers if I'd do a tutorial on it, so I've decided to make a start. And we're going to do week one. So I got this off the Wool Warehouse. I got this from the Wool Warehouse, and I bought the cheaper yarn pack, and that was $22.90. It was reduced from 28, and I preferred the colours of it anyway than to the more expensive one. So, but there's still, the kits are still available. Those are the two colour schemes. I'm doing this one here, and that is the slightly more expensive yarn. So right, so I'm going to turn you around and we'll start off with week one, which is this lovely square here. And as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. I love these little green bits here. And you do 4 on week one, and this is the first colour wise that I've done, and I'm going to do the next one. I must say that the written pattern is very well done. It's very big writing, which is lovely. Often they're so small it's difficult to follow. It's laid out really nicely, and I didn't find too many problems in doing it. But yes, so as I say, I'll turn you around and we'll get started. Right, so we're using a 4.5mm crochet hook. I'm using one of my Crochet Society ones. And you're starting off with the yellow on, and this is for the second flower. And you do a magic circle. So that's where you hold the thread here between your fingers. This is the way I do it. Then you wind it round like that. So you've got this piece down here. Pull that through, twist it, so it's like a twist. Then you pull that through and you've got a stitch. Then I wind my thread round here, round there, under that one, under that one, under that one. That's how I do it. And then I hold this with between the thumb and this finger. It's all in UK terms, and they want you to do 1 treble and 1 chain 8 times. So that's a treble. A treble or 1 chain, and then you do the same again. You do that 8 times. Chain, treble, chain, treble, chain. You can see the magic ring getting bigger and bigger, so you can pull it in if it starts getting bigger. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven, and then this will be the 8th one. And then you slip stitch into the top of the original one. So you just put that in there, slip stitch, and then you tighten up your magic ring. So you just pull that, and it draws it all in. And there you have first round. And then we're going to change to yarn B, which on the second flower is powder blue. So I'm just going to cut this off. And change to the powder blue. Right, so it doesn't matter where you go in, but you're into any space and you join your powder blue. Oops. I like to use a slip knot so I know it's not going to come undone, but you do it whichever way you want to do it. And then I chain one. And now what they're saying is to do a V-stitch. And we'll look up and see what she says a V-stitch is. Right, so a V-stitch is a treble, a chain, and another treble in the same stitch, like that. So that's what we're going to do. So we do a treble. You do one chain and then another treble, all in the same space. And that is your V-stitch. And again, into the chain space, a treble, a chain, and another treble. So a treble, one chain, and another treble. And you do that all the way around. And I'll see you at the end. Right, so we're coming up to the last one. I've been weaving in my end, the yellow end here, so that's less to do at the when we finish, so I will do it through there, and I'm catching this one here and weaving them in as I go along, and then that's less to do when you're finishing off and tidying up. So when you get to the end, you just slip stitch into the top of the first treble, and that is what it should look like. So we're going to carry on in the blue, and this time we are going to chain one, we're going to do one double, one half treble, three trebles, one half treble and one double in each chain space. So chain space is in between the V's. So that'll be your first one in between those V's. So it's one double crochet, a half, that's where you pull it all the way through, and then three trebles. So that is one, two, three, then a half, your half treble, and then a double crochet, and that's what it should look like. So you've got your little petal, and you do that 8 times. So you find the next V, which will be this one here, and you do a double crochet, you do a half treble, and you do 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3, then a half, and then a double crochet, and that's your second petal. So we'll do one more together in between your V, double crochet, half treble, treble, another treble, and then third treble, then a half treble, and a double crochet. So go all the way along and you should have 8 of these petals, and then you'll just slip stitch into the top of this double crochet here. So I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end, you should have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you slip stitch into the bottom there of that double crochet. And you fasten off. Right, so now we're going to start round 4, and a little tip, I've written down the different changes in colours so that I don't get confused, because I nearly did this one with a C, and it's actually F, which is the apple green. So yeah, so little tip there, writing it down, copying it from the chart, which is at the back here. There. And then I don't have to keep looking at the back. So we're going to start off with this apple green, and as you can see, you're going to start off in here. So we're going to join, so in between the V's, we're going to join through there. So I always join with a slip knot, because I don't want to it to come undone. So there we are, there's the join, and then you do 1 chain. And we're going to do the popcorn stitch. Popcorn stitch is 5 trebles in the same stitch. Then you remove the hook, you put it in the first one, the top of the first treble, then you pull back the loop through and it tightens up. It's easier to show you than explain. So 5 trebles. So yarn over, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 trebles there. So I pinch it between my thumb and my finger there so I don't lose the stitch. And then you're going for the top of your first treble, which is that one there. Then you're back through here, and then you pull that through, and that draws it in like that, and that makes your little petal. And then you do 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you slip stitch into the next space between the V's. So round there, pull through, tuck that chain behind the petal, you do 1 chain and then 5 trebles. That's 1, and I find hold that down, otherwise you end up catching this. So hold that down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pinch that in there so that you don't lose your stitch. Then round here, then you're going in the top of that first one, like that. Back through there, then pull it through. And that makes your petal. And then another 4 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you one more time. In between the V's, slip stitch to join, tuck the chain behind the petal, do 1 chain, 5 treble, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinch this with your fingers and back through here, and then pull it through. Another petal. So that's starting to look really pretty, isn't it? So you need to carry on round until you get all the way round and have 8 petals, and I'll see you there. Right, so when you get to the end, you turn it round and you're going to join, and as you can see that every time it was joined near the bottom here, so you're going to join down here, not at the top there, but just join here with a slip stitch. Like that. Okay, so now we're going to do round 5, so we need to fasten this off. Like that. And round 5 we need to change to G. Colour G is lavender, so we're going to go for the lavender. What a beautiful colour there, lavender. So that's going to be next now. Right, so I do a slip knot, and we're going to start round 5 with our lavender, which is second flower we're doing. Right, so you start in any 4 chain space, so that will be here, any of these. So you just put like that. And you're doing 1 double crochet, 1 half, 3 trebles, 1 half treble, 1 double crochet over each of the 4 chains 8 times, and that'll be your extra petals here. So more petals behind these blue ones. So we're going to have some lilac ones behind the blue ones. So it's 1 double, and I'm going to weave that in. So I'm doing it. 1 double, 1 half treble, 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, I'm weaving in that, so that's one end we won't have to weave in at the end. Then another half, and then a double. And that's what that should look like. And then you go on to the next one and you do a double, a half treble, a treble, another treble, and another treble. That's 3 altogether. Then a half treble and a double. And there we are. You can see it coming on. So again, find the full chain. You're doing a double, a half treble, 3 trebles, 2, 3, half treble, and a double. So we need to do that all the way around, and then when we get to the end, we'll slip stitch into this bottom double crochet down here. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so that should be what it looks like with all your little lilac petals on the back there. And we're going to join the apple green again, and we're going to do round 6. So round 6, you join above, space above your original petal. Like that. And you're going to do 1 chain. And then you're going to do popcorn. Now popcorn is 5 trebles. So that's, wind that in. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you pinch it here so it doesn't come undone. You go back to here, pick up that first stitch, the top of the first treble, then pick up the last one and pull it through. So it's like that. And then you're going to do 1 chain. And then you're going to do another popcorn in the same stitch. So that is 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Pinch it there, go to the first one, which will be there, pull that through, and that'll give you your next popcorn stitch. And then you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to slip stitch above the next popcorn stitch, like that. And you're going to do 1 chain, and then you're going to do, again, you're going to do 5 trebles into the same space. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinch the threads here, slide it into that top of that first one, put it back on the hook and pull it through. And you're doing 1 chain, and then you're doing a second popcorn next to it. So it's another 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinch the stitch, find the first one, back in there, slide it through, and then 5 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over behind the next. Slide it in. Oh. Let's do that again. Above the last popcorn from previous rows, and there we are. So this is what it should look like. You've got your 5 chain tuck behind your lilac petals. So that is your petal building up. So you're going to do 2 popcorns in there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and then when you get to the end you'll slip stitch into here. So I'll meet you at the end with all your popcorns done. Right, so I've slip stitched it into the back, and now I'm going to fasten off, ready for the next round. So that is the end of round 6, and it's looking really good, isn't it? Pretty petals. So now we're going to go back to our powder blue colour, and you're going to attach it onto any 5 chain. So there we are. There's mine attached, and then you are going to do chain 1. We're going to do 1 double crochet. I'm weaving in this thread as I'm going along. 1/2 treble, and then 5 trebles this time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a half treble and a double crochet, and that'll be your petal. And then we do chain 1, and then we're going into the next one, which is this one here, and you're going to do a double crochet, a half treble, 5 trebles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a half treble, and then a double, and then a 1 chain, and there we are. You can see it's starting to build up. Right, so next 5 chain, it's 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, 5 trebles, 2, 3, 4, 5, half treble, and a double crochet. Don't forget your 1 chain, and then again back into here. And you go all the way round doing that, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end, you slip stitch into this first double crochet. And then you fasten off. And then that is your flower so far. So now we're going to do round 8, and we're going to attach the apple green again. And we're going to do this in the space above the last 2 popcorns. So attach your, smooth that out of the way, that purple. Right, so we've attached it there, and we're going to do a popcorn. We're going to do chain 1. We're going to do a popcorn, which is 5 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinch the stitch there, back into the first one, back in there, pull it through. That's your popcorn, and then you're going to do 6 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to slip stitch above the last set of popcorn stitches. And you're going to do another one there, so it's chain 1 and then 5 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pinch the stitch through there, pull it through, and then 6 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then slip stitch above your last set of popcorns. And that's what it's meant to look like. So you can see, and you do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so I slip stitched into the first double crochet of the our first popcorn. I've tidied up the ends as well. What I can't weave in as I go along, I use a little 2mm hook, and I pull that through and pull them in, weave them in with that, and I find that nice and easy. It saves threading a needle constantly. But yes, so now let's start on round 9, and we're going to join the lilac again. So I'm doing a slip knot, and then you join in any 6 chain space. So it's a 6 chain space. Like that. I'm going to weave this one in as I do it. And you chain 1, then you do a double crochet, 1 double crochet, you do a half treble, and this time you do 7 trebles. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not 7 double crochets, sorry, 7 trebles. So you do 7 trebles, then you do a half treble, and then you do a double crochet. And I've weaved that end in as well, so that's nice and tidy. And then at the end of that you do a chain 1, and then you repeat that in the next 6 chain space. So that is a double crochet, a half treble, 7 trebles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 trebles, a half treble, and 1 double crochet. Then a chain, 1 chain, and then you're back in here with a double, a half treble, 7 trebles, another half treble and a double crochet, and then 1 chain, and you do that all the way around, and you can see your petals are building up. Okay, I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end, don't forget to do that 1 chain, and then you slip stitch into the first double crochet of the first petal that you did. And then you fasten off. Like that. And that is all your lovely petals done so far. Right, so now you join. I'm doing flower 2, so I'm joining the petal pink. I'm joining with a slip knot. And it says they're going to begin squaring off your flower. So you will need to turn after rounds 10 and 11. Okay, so we're doing round 10. And we're looking for a 1 chain space, which will be these ones here. So we find a 1 chain space. Oops. So we're joining. And we are doing 1 chain and 2 trebles. 1, 2, and then we're going to start the repeat. So you skip 1 stitch, which will be this one here, this hidden stitch there. And then you're going to, in the back loop only, you are going to do 2 half trebles. So that'll be back loop only. That's a half treble. Next stitch is a half treble. Then you're doing 6 double crochets, so in back loop only, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you're doing 2 half trebles. 1, 2. Then over the 1 chain space. Okay, so when you get to here, so you've done your 2 half trebles, and then you do a treble in the back loop of the stitch that goes over the 1 chain space, like that. And then you will skip 1 stitch, which will be that stitch, and then this one you will go in the back loop again, 2 half trebles. That's 1, wrong one, skip too many. Two half trebles, that's 1, 2, 6 doubles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2 half trebles, all this is in the back stitch only, 2 half trebles, that's 1, that's 2, and then when you get to this corner you will do 2 trebles, two chain and another 2 trebles. And that is going to be your squaring off corner, like that. Okay, and that is what you repeat 2 more times. So we're missing the first stitch, then in the back loop we are doing half treble, another half treble, six doubles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 half trebles, that's 1, 2, and then you're doing 1 treble into that chain space, then you're missing a stitch, and then you're doing 2 half trebles, 2, 6 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 half trebles, 1, 2, and then you are doing 2 trebles, 1, 2, 2 chain, another 2 trebles. And that's another corner. So we can see that's a corner, that'll be a corner, and that's a corner. We're gradually going to square it off. Okay, so carry on. You'll have another corner here. So you've got to repeat it twice, and then when you get to here, you're going to have to do 2 trebles, 2 chain, and then slip stitch into the top there. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so when you get to the end, you've slip stitched into there. We're keeping this same colour for round 11, and we have to turn. So we have to turn our work. So we turn, and then you slip stitch into the 2 chain space, so like that, and then you are in the 2 chain space there. And then once you're in the 2 chain space, you're going to do 1 chain and you're going to do 1 treble, like that. And then you're going to work along here. Now you don't have to worry about the hidden stitch here because we're working from behind, so it's not here. So you're going straight into this one here. So we're doing 2 treble, so that's 1, 2, 2 half treble, 1, 2, 17 double, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, then 2 half trebles, that is 1, 2, and then 2 trebles, that is 1, 2, and then you're going to work the corner, which is a treble, 2 chain and another treble. And you see we're trying to straighten up, and then we'll do another corner there and another corner here. Right, so if we repeat again, so it's 2 trebles, 1, 2, 2 half trebles, 1, 2, 17 doubles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 2 half trebles, 1, 2, and then 2 trebles, 1, 2, Then into the space, corner space, we're doing 1 treble, 2 chain and another treble. And remember, this is the back you're looking at. Okay, so starting to get bigger. So yes, so there we are. So now repeat that twice around there. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Right, so when you come to the end of round 11, you've slip stitched it onto the standing treble there, and then you're going to fasten off because we're going to change to another colour. And you're going to turn it, so we're now right side facing. And we're going to join yellow, primrose yellow. So this is round 12, and you join any two chain space. So pick that one. Right. So we've joined. We're going to do 1 chain and a half treble. Into that 2 chain space. Then we're going to skip 1. So we're skipping this stitch, and then you're going to do 1 chain and you're going to do a half treble into the next stitch. And you're going to do that 13 times. So that's once, so it's 1 chain, skip and then half treble. So that's 2, 1 chain, half treble, makes 3, 1 chain, half treble, 4, 1 chain, 5, 1 chain, half treble, 6, 1 chain, half treble, 7, 1 chain, half treble, 8, 1 chain, half treble, 9, 1 chain, half treble, 10, 1 chain, half treble, 11, 1 chain, half treble, 12, 1 chain, half treble, 13. 13. Then you're going to skip a stitch, you're going to 1 chain, and you're going to do a half treble into the corner, 2 chain, 1, 2, and another half treble into the corner. And that's what it should look like. Okay, so now we're going to repeat that 2 more times. 3 more times. We're going to repeat that 3 more times, and when you get to the end here, you will do 1 half treble, 2 chain and slip stitch onto here. Starting off we will do 1 chain, miss a stitch, half treble into the next one, and we'll do that all the way along. So 1 chain, half treble into the next one, and you'll do 13 all the way along, and then round the corner, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so that is the end of round 12. So you can see we've got this little spaced out stitch all the way round. It's starting to look a bit squarer. And now where you don't turn, you carry on keeping it right side facing you, and you change to F for this. This is for flower 2, and that is the apple green. And then we're going to join in any 2 chain space, so that's that one here. And then we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to do a puff stitch in this chain. Right, so you insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, and you yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. So you have 6 loops on the hook, and then you pull through all 6, and that gives you your little puff stitch. So once you've done 1, you then chain 1, and then you do another puff into each of these chain spaces. So you've chained 1, then you put in the space, yarn over again, in the space, yarn over, that's 4 on there, yarn over, in the space, yarn over, and that is 6, and then you pull through all 6. It's a bit fiddly. Then you do 1 chain, and then you do the next space. So it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, through the space, pull through, yarn over, through the space, pull through, and that should be 6 on there, and then pull through all 6, and then do 1 chain. So in the space, yarn over, through, there's 4 on there, yarn over, put through the hole, yarn over, so that's 2, 4, 6, and you pull through all 6, and then you do 1 chain. It's remembering not to go yarn over at the beginning, but in the space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, through, yarn over, that's 4, yarn over, 6. There we are. And you just keep on doing that all the way along. I mustn't do that. 6. Nope. Right, so 3 more to do. Right, so when you get to the corner, you're going to do a puff, 2 chain and another puff in that corner space. So there's 1 puff, then 1, 2 chain, and then another puff. There we are. So carry on doing puffs all the way in there with 1 chain between them, and then when you get to here you do a puff, 2 chain, another puff, and you do that all the way round until you get to this one here, and you do 1 puff, 2 chain, and then slip stitch onto it. I'll see you there. Right, so there we are. We finished round 13, slip stitched into this corner, and now we're going to join the pink again for round 14, and you're going to join in any 2 chain space, so that's between these puffs. So let's join that. Where are you? Right, and once you've joined, you're going to do 1 chain, and then you're going to do 2 trebles in the chain space. So that's 1, 2. It'd be like that. Then in each chain space along here, you are going to do 2 trebles. So in here, 1, 2, and then the next one, 1, 2, and you're going to do that all the way along. Oops, there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what it's going to look like, and you're going to do that all the way along here, and then when you get to the corner, you're going to do 2 trebles, 2 chain and 2 trebles in each corner space. And then I'll see you at the other end. Right, so finished those, slip stitched and joined in here. Doesn't it look absolutely gorgeous? It's such a beautiful pattern. I might move you up a bit now. So yeah, such a beautiful pattern. So now we're just doing the final round. This is round 15, and we're joining into any 2 chain space. So I'm going to join into here. And we start off with 1 chain, and then it's a half treble, one chain, and another half treble into the 2 chain space. And then you're going to half treble all the way across to the next 2 chain space, and then you're going to repeat what you've just done. So remember to use the hidden stitch, which is this one here. So half treble in there, half treble in the next one, and the next one. All the way along. And that's what it's going to look like all the way along. So I'm going to work out how many stitches we should have along each side. So 136 divided by 4, 34. So I make it 34 either side. Well, let's see if that's correct. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So you should have 34 half trebles along each side, and then you're going to be putting, so you're putting one in the corner, you're doing 1 chain space and another half treble in each corner. So it's 1 and a 1 chain space, and then you'll do 34 along there, and then one half treble, 1 chain, 1 half treble, and then 34 down here until you get all the way around. So I'll see you when you've finished it. Right, so there we are, slip stitched in there, and it's finished. Mine measures 23 centimetres. The designer said it should be 22, so mine's a bit on the big size, but I'm not worried. I'm sure it'll all even out when it all goes together. So I'm just going to turn it round, and I'm just going to weave in the last few bits and pieces. Right, I'm happy with that. I hope yours went well, and I'll see you soon for week 2. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.